call to order and recording of members present and absent. Hanson.
Here.
Kane.
Yes.
Slater. Here. Open meeting compliance statement read. I, the undersigned clerk of the Board of Education of the Alva Independent School District, number 1 of Woods County, Oklahoma, certify that prior to December 15th of the last calendar year, the date, time, and place of this regular meeting was filed in the office of the County Clerk of Woods County, Oklahoma. I also certify that at least 24 hours prior to this meeting, excluding Saturdays, Sundays, and holidays, notice of the date, time, and place, and agenda of this meeting was posted in prominent public view at the office of the superintendent. Item number 3, the consent agenda. All the following items, which concern reports and items of a routine nature, normally approved by one board vote, unless any board member desires to have a separate vote on any or all of these items. The consent agenda consists of the discussion, consideration, and approval of the following. 3.1, addition of items of new business to the agenda.
There are none.
3.2, minutes of the March 6, 2023 regular meeting. 3.3, approval of the finance report. 3.4, approval of the extra duty assignment schedule. 3.5, approval of the activity fund report. 3.6, approval of activity fund fundraisers. 3.7, approval of activity fund inter-account transfers. 3.8, approval of the child nutrition report. And 3.9, declare the following items as surplus.
Okay. Excuse me. If we'll look at agenda item 3.2, our March 6, 2023 minutes. I did not see any errors with those minutes. Want to thank again Ms. Owen for her work, not only as our board clerk, but as our current clerk also. She does an outstanding job. Could not do this without her. Agenda item 3.3. If you'll start with the bottom attachment and we'll work our way up. The bottom attachment are the investments. Excuse me, our investments are all up to date and current. If you look at the middle agenda item, you can see there what I've provided for you is our revenue collections to date. And so you can look down through that and see that our revenue collections are really well. We are collecting at an above rate, and it's kind of cut off, so I'm going to pull this up real quick so that you can see it easier on the screen, because the attachment looks like it's cut off a little bit. Bear with me. Okay. Look at this and make this a little bit bigger for everyone to see. You see this number in the I column. That is our collection percentage to our estimate of needs. And so you can see that on the attachment, but it's cut off on the second page. If you look at this, you can see that we're above 90% collection in many areas. You look at 1310, our interest earnings, we're collecting above. Really what I want to point out to you is when you come down here to gross production, we are collecting at 110%, so we've already over collected. But if you remember from last month, we really haven't moved the needle up from our last month's collection. And so you can go on down through these and you can see our year-to-date collection with our estimate of needs. And so currently, our estimate of needs is at 89%. So that's what we have collected. Keep in mind that included in our estimate of needs was our federal ESSER money, which is one-time money that we're not going to see again. So that's close to $1 million. And so as we begin to think about next year, we have to start thinking about, in simple terms, it's like $1 million cut, okay? And so I want to also show you this spreadsheet also, and it is our chargeables. And I think one of the reasons this is what you see on that spreadsheet. What I want to show you here is the gross production tab, and I want you to look at where we were starting in July and where we were this month in March. So we went from a collection of $140,000 to $92,000. So we began to over-collect really early because gross production prices, oil prices, were so high. But now you're seeing our collections begin to lessen. And so what we have to keep in mind is as we start thinking about our budget for the next year, we're not going to start off anticipating that 90% collection, if that makes any sense. So it's going to look, it appears, with what we've collected, that we've over-collected. But if you wipe off those months and moving forward, things don't improve, our collections to start the new year, we can anticipate those will be less than this year. Does that make sense? And then the last attachment I want to draw your attention to is the monthly finance report that I provide you. And you can see these chargeables here. We are collecting at a good rate. Like I said, we've collected more in 4 of the 5 areas than we did last year. When you look at our expenses, when you look at that by chart, and then also by number, we've seen a revenue increase of approximately $703,000. We've spent about $257,000 more, almost $258,000 more. Any questions regarding the finance report before I move on to the extra duty assignment schedule? Okay, if you look at agenda item 3.4, our extra duty assignment schedule, we have a couple of additions to that. If you look on the first page, you see Ephraim Barraza. We have posted for an assistant coaching position, an additional assistant coaching position with high school baseball. We're unable to find that. And so you'll see an increase of $600 there, and that's highlighted with Ephraim for his work with our high school baseball. And then if you'll also go to the next page, on page 2, you'll see Steve Gale. He has been helping with our high school and middle school pole vaulters since about really the middle of January. Highly technical event. And so really appreciate the time that Coach Gale spends with those young people. And so we feel like a $1,500 stipend is appropriate for that. Agenda item 3.5, our activity fund. You can see the top report is the activity fund by month, and then the bottom attachment will be by year to date. The only major difference you're going to begin to see in the activity accounts over the course of the next couple of months will be in our golf account. In that golf account, which will be number 813, you'll see an increase in that next month as a result of the Quinn Golf Trust money. We will be requesting that money from the foundation to move into the activity account to purchase a 14-passenger bus for use by our students. It's going to be about a $121,000 purchase that you will see in next month's activity account once that request is approved by the foundation board. Agenda item 3.6, activity fund fundraisers. There are no activity fund fundraisers. Agenda item 3.7, there are no inter-account transfers. Agenda item 3.8, there is an attachment there that gives our last 2 years and then year-to-date meals. You can see that we are down in both lunch and breakfast as compared to the year and then also from our previous years. Finally, agenda item 3.8, Washington surplus items. We have some old VCR tapes and VCRs that they are surplus. Are there any questions about the consent agenda? If there are none, I would recommend its approval.
I make a motion we approve 3.1 to 3.9 as presented.
Second.
Slater?
Yes.
Kane?
Yes.
Hanson?
Yes. Item number 4, vote to approve purchase order encumbrances for the following funds for fiscal year '23. 4.1, the general fund number 11 as referenced. 4.2, building fund number 21 as referenced. 4.3, child nutrition fund number 22 as referenced.
Okay, if you look at agenda item 4.1 and open up the top attachment, we'll go over a few of those general fund purchase orders. Purchase order number 419, $5,590 with Bank Central. That is for some cabling, moving our server to the top level, which will enable our cable runs not to be as long, which should improve the capability of our Wi-Fi, but also anytime IT has to troubleshoot anything, those cable runs won't be as long, which will make it easier for them. Purchase order number 420, $6,870. That is for, with A to Z, we've got a washout at the baseball field under the bleachers. You're going to see an additional purchase order next month. It's going to cost about $8,000 more to do that. Those bleachers behind on that hill, it's washing out underneath there. There's been at one time, it looks like, some concrete poured over the top of it. But what we're going to do is go in and try to put a drain so that it'll move that water from underneath it and hopefully stop washing that out. And so that's something we've got to try to get on quickly. Purchase order number 421, $4,900. That's Peak Environment. That is our spring spraying of all of our sites. Purchase order number 432, $20,935. This will be purchased out of real low income money, so it will be reimbursable. This is to purchase some Chrome boxes for our active panels. It's going to extend the life of our current active panels, and then also buy some stands for the active panels to make those more mobile. Many times in the summer, IT has to go through and move active panels because classrooms might change or how a teacher sets up a classroom. And so this will eliminate some of that work to be able to just have those on mobile stands for our IT department. And then finally, purchase order number 433 with R&R Systems for $2,566. Those are repairs to the bus barn door. If you look at the bottom attachment, you will see that is general fund payroll items. That is activity drivers and also substitutes. Okay, our building fund. If you'll open up agenda item 4.2, the attachment for the building fund. We have two purchase orders for Vendetti Plumbing. Purchase orders number 73 and 80. 73 is for $3,000, 80 is for $3,500. Those are purchase orders. The first one is for open purchase order for district repairs. And that second one is repairs to the grease traps at the cafeteria at the middle school. Purchase order number 75, $12,000. Purchase order number 76, $55,000. Those are utility open purchase orders to get us through the remainder of the year. We continue to see an increase in cost in our utilities, which I know we all see. We're seeing that also here at school. Purchase order number 77. That is access elevator, $27,250. That is going to put a lift behind the interior doors that go into the auditorium to make our auditorium stage handicap accessible. And so it will not be visible from the stage. It will be behind those doors on the south end. With that is also purchase order number 78 with A to Z Construction. They have to widen that doorway just a little bit for the lift to fit. And so we are hoping that work will be completed by promotion and graduation. That's kind of our goal to get that started. Okay, if you will look at child nutrition, agenda item 4.3, our child nutrition fund, we have one purchase order out of it. It is with Heartland Auto Chlor, and that is for $450 to repair the dishwasher at Alva Middle School. Are there any questions with our general fund, agenda item 4.1, building fund, agenda item 4.2, child nutrition fund, agenda item 4.3?
The district spraying, is that just the grass around each site?
Yes, so we do each site do that twice a year, fall and spring. We actually did not do that. I can't think now when it was. We didn't do it one season and really spent a lot more time mowing, and I had a lot of issues. So we're going to really try to stay on top of that, ensure we don't have the weeds, and saves us a little bit of our mowing costs in the summer. Any other questions?
Move to approve items 4.1, 4.2, and 4.3.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. Item number 5, superintendent's report.
Okay, we do not have any resignations, retirements, or reassignments this month. If you look at 5.2 for communication, just want to give you an update on our HVAC renovation in the gym. It is progressing. They have removed all of the old pipes in the old gym that were covered in asbestos. Those have been removed. The gym floor is covered. They have removed the old heaters that were hanging down from the ceiling. And so the next step in that project will be to pour the concrete pads on each side of the entrances for the actual HVAC units. We'll give you an update on those. They are not in. As expected, they were told July, and we have pushed them to, we need those by June. So I will keep the board updated on where we're at with those next month, but I can tell you that, and it's the manufacturer is telling, which I believe is Carrier, is telling Dents Mechanical that there's a delay on the shipment of that. So I will keep you updated there with that. Want to remind you about the OSSBA region meeting on April 27th. If you would like to attend that, please let me know. There are some education-related bills that I've made some copies for you, and so wanted you to be able to have these. We'll start first with the education funding and school choice tax credit. One short.
Here.
This is provided by the OSSBA regarding the comparison to the education funding mechanism by the legislature. So this kind of gives you a little bit of a difference between what the House is proposing and what the Senate is. And I also want you to have these handouts. This is provided to me by our, let me have it back.
Oh,
Ken.
certainly.
I should have given that to you. These are front and back. This is provided by our Northwest area administrators, and it gives a comparison of the actual financial impact that each school district will have, whether the House plan is passed or the Senate plan is passed. So there's some good numbers for you to review. And so the Senate districts overlap. That's why I'm giving you two different handouts here that may have some of the same school districts. But it will allow you to kind of see what the fiscal impact will be from these bills. So we obviously know that the legislature is still in session, and those are going to change. Those will change from their current form, and so I'll be sure and keep you updated on where those bills land and what kind of financial impact that we see here at Alva Public Schools. Finally, 5.3 strategic plan. I want to thank board members, administrators, Ms. Owen, for making those 2 days possible. It was a really good 2 days that we were able to reconvene that committee and those stakeholders. The school business has become more complex than it was even 3 or 4 years ago. And so the K-20 Center has the ideas, goals, and initiatives that the stakeholder group worked on. They are putting those down and editing those, and will get those to me. Hopefully at next month's board meeting, we'll get you a copy of those and go over some more of that discussion that took place during our strategic plan. That's all I have.
Item number 6, items of current business. 6.1, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve the following teacher as an adjunct instructor for the 22-23 school year.
Okay, so agenda item 6.11, Scott Baugh, Oklahoma history. That was an oversight on my part when we went through our accreditation at the beginning of the year. And so he is teaching 1 hour of Oklahoma history and U.S. government. We currently adjunct Ms. Tyree for aeronautics class, Ms. Meyer for her biology class, Mr. Brock for his guitar class. And so I would ask the board that we approve adjuncting Scott Ball for Oklahoma history.
So moved.
Second.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Item 6.2, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve summer driver's education with instructor Candy Ongren for May 30th through June the 2nd and June the 19th through the 23rd.
So I want to thank Dr. Niswanger. She has been on top of this agenda item. Appreciate Ms. Holmgren's willingness to teach our driver's education class. We were able to offer this last summer for the first time in a couple of years, and it's been much needed and well received, and so I would ask approval of agenda item 6.2.
Move to approve item 6.2.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. 6.3, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve a $200 fee to be charged for the summer driver's ed program.
Last summer, we increased the fee from $175 to $200. We don't feel like at this point that we need to do that increase again. We feel like the $200 is a sufficient amount to charge for our summer education driver's ed program. Just to give you some particulars about the class, we can have 15 students per class, and they have to receive 30 hours of driving time during that. So if there are no questions, I would recommend approval of agenda item 6.3.
I'll make the motion that we approve 6.3.
Second.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
6.4, discussion with possible board action, vote to enter into win-win negotiations for the Alva Education Association and the Alva Board of Education for the 23-24 school year.
This is a routine agenda item that we have on the agenda each April. This allows myself to enter into negotiations on behalf of the board. Appreciate Ms. Almgren getting us this through so that we can begin this process. If there are no questions, I would recommend approval of agenda item 6.4.
Move to approve item 6.4.
Second.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
6.5, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve a resolution for the Woods County Hazard Mitigation Plan.
So if you look at agenda item 6.5, we have the hazard mitigation plan that's been developed by our Woods County Emergency Preparedness Group. Ethan Fiedler has been in charge of that group. By approving this resolution, this opens up our county and our area to a multitude of grants. And so you're going to see county commissioners, and we've all provided input on each part of this plan. This has been a really long process for Ethan, and he's done a really good job with it. And so it requires approval from all school districts and government entities in the county. So if there are no questions, I would recommend approval of our county hazard mitigation plan.
Has this been done before? Is this a new?
It has been done
Concept.
before, but I'm not sure the last time. I couldn't tell you.
Do we have ideas of grants we're going to apply for, or?
I do not know that. I couldn't answer that question for you. But I can find that answer
They-
too.
They will just make them available to us?
Yes, yes, by approving the resolution of this plan, then we have those options with FEMA and other government organizations by approving the resolution.
I make a motion we accept 6.5.
Second.
Kane,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. 6.6, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve an out-of-state travel request from the Alva Middle School to take the AMS 8th grade class to Wichita, Kansas on May the 12th, 2023.
Appreciate Ms. Martini really got this in really early for the 8th grade trip, and so really appreciate that. Busy time of year for them. This is required agenda item, approval by the board for any out-of-state travel. And so I would recommend approval of the 8th grade class trip to Wichita, Kansas.
Move to approve item 6.6.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. 6.7, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve an out-of-state travel request for the AHS soccer teams to travel to soccer game in Wichita, Kansas on April 17th, 2023.
Okay, Mr. Gould is requesting travel to play Sunrise Christian Academy on April 17th in Wichita, Kansas. Again, another out-of-state travel request. Just need approval of this request.
This is boys and girls.
Yes, correct. Thank you, Shane. Question? Should have said that.
Move to approve item 6.7.
Second.
Hanson,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Slater.
Yes. 6.8, discussion with possible board action, vote to approve an out-of-state travel request from the AHS League Club to travel to San Antonio, Texas on May the 22nd through the 25th, 2023.
Again, thank you to Ms. Manning, Dr. Niswanger for getting this in a timely manner. This is the second year in a while they've been able to take a trip with the club, and so they are going to be going to San Antonio, Texas, and I would recommend approval of this out-of-state travel request.
I make a motion we approve 6.8.
Second.
Slater,
Yes.
Kane,
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Item 7, new business.
Business.
Item number 8, signing of documents approved by earlier action. And number 9, adjourned.